Say sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So, dear Dharma practitioners, when it comes to Buddha's teaching, these old teachings mainly based with two reasons. It trying to deliver you what is truth, and it trying to deliver you what is profitable to your life. Those are the main two pillars. What is the truth and what is profitable. So why we need the truth from some teachings? Because what we experience also truth, and we see it as true. So you have certain truth within yourself. So then why you need some Buddha or some teacher appear to you and tell what is the truth, what is the reality, what you experience. Even the Buddha come to this world, look, it's not going to bring anything from another planet, that it going to explain regarding your day-to-day activities, regarding the same thing, regarding this own body, regarding our own mind, regarding our own thoughts. There is nothing, but still it is within us. Why then we cannot see it? The reason is, listen this very carefully and remember, why we cannot get truth. Even in day-to-day life, why we cannot conventionally, why we cannot achieve to success. Remember this. There is something that you believe as truth. So you want that to be the truth, the whatever around you. There is something you believe as truth. So you want that truth to be true around you. That's why the Buddha or some enlightened masters come to us and try to teach us that what we believe is not the truth. There is something is beyond that what we believe. But to drop what we believe, we need some help. So through the Dharma, we gain that help. So even in the success also, why you cannot achieve, why you cannot go beyond the layer that you hold it to? Because that sometimes you hold that you have your own version of success, thinking this is the success. And you think it should be the success around you. So then while you believing that, you're not going to see something else. It's same like it happened to the God also. So that's why there are different gods and different versions of the gods according to what you believe as God. But you don't want to let go whatever the God in you, or the deities, or the higher source, or the powers, and you don't want to let it go, your version, and you don't want to see with the very clear open mind. So this happened to the truth also. So then remember, when it comes to life, that what we keep doing or what we holding can do only this. There's nothing else. That's why we are like this. So then you have to look yourself and see, do you need the change? And mostly we look for outside, that outside things need to change. And the house needs to remodel. We have to change the car, and we have to change the husband, wife. And even sometimes we need another child, or we need to go to another state or another country. So like that we change things. But still, we never look within ourselves and see where, in what part of us should change to experience something new. And because of that lack of that understanding, wherever we go, whatever we do, we experience the same. So then remember, the change should come within yourself. And especially when it comes to the environment, and we are struggling with other people, and how to deal with these people, how to deal with this situation. You cannot, because that is another person, same like you. You cannot escape from the nature. So then what you have to do, change yourself, because wherever you are, according to that, the place, time, space, energy that you hold, whatever you receive happens. So when you change the location, that means psychological location, when you change, that what you experience in your life, you're not going to experience. But psychologically, we going to be the same person. That is your psychological location. And then, but you don't like what you receive. It's not going to happen. It's going to come to you. But when you change your location, when you become a different person, then it cannot happen. So then if you see that you go through struggle, it is very difficult for you. If you need the change in your life, remember to have a higher purpose. Why? Because the higher purpose will uplift you from the ground level wherever you are. And then once you change your psychological location, that whatever you receive, it cannot reach to you. Like the president in here in United States, he just one tweet, and he can spread all the anger around, and but no one can reach to him because he's the president. See that? But if the ordinary person just post something, you know and everybody come behind him and block all the Twitter or the Facebook or account, and everything closed down, even just a person do very minor something and take to the jail. But see that when according to the place that it not going, it cannot reach there. So then you have to remember, look in within yourself, around you. If you don't want the reactions whatever come around you, the very important thing is remember yourself, take the responsibility. You are not in the right place, you are in the wrong place. You are the one who in the wrong place, not others. Take that responsibility, and then from there start to change your location. Then you will go. But the thing is, once we think, oh, this is the truth, this is the reality, this is the best, this is profitable for us, we never going to change our location. Look at the Prince Siddhartha. He was in a palace, but he didn't, he understood it's not going to bring what he want. Then what he did, he changed himself. He didn't going to change the palace or the other people around him. He had the power to do that if he want, but what he did, he changed. So like that, you have to take responsibility regarding your own life. So today, talk about it. What you need the best in your life. what you have to develop, what you have to find, what is the skill that you have to get into you, yourself, in from here to entire your sansaric journey. So you heard the word called alone. This word alone is came from Latin and Greek. So this Latin word and the Greek, this word, the alone, means all in one, all one, all come in one. So that kind of meaning, all together. That is what called alone. So when you are alone, that means that everything should come together. But the thing is, on the way, what happened, we misunderstood this alone word. And then it kind of like a few hundred years back, it got another meaning. It's kind of like a slowly it start to come and attack to that original meaning, and it's kind of like a hijacking. It's a isolation. So it is very interesting this how this alone word hijack this isolation. So now when somebody say, I am alone, so it's kind of like a come an idea, it's kind of like a isolated, stay alone. So that's mean, oh, you isolate from things. So what is this all in one? Because that is what you need in life, alone. That is the very similar thing called samadhi, tranquility state. So the all in one, the meaning, Latin and the Greek, they in that time the connotation and the explanation is one thing is timing. Remember this all I go details. One is timing. So when it comes to time, there are three components: past, future, present. So this all three should come together. Another thing is the mind and matter. So the matter means the time and space and the energy. So this all the environment, energy, the mind, time. When that everything come together, it's called alone. But the thing is, how this isolation word came. Because that when you try to be separate from something, you have desire to be with something. So then alone, that when you are not alone, it's called belong. You belong to something. So the why you belong to something? Because your imagination. What is the imagination? Your fragmented mind, your scattered mind, your mind separate. From what your mind separate? Time. That is the very first thing. Even the when it comes to the Buddha's teaching, that one of the misinterpretation regarding the self is the Sakkaya Ditthi, self-centered mind mean in the past I exist, in the future I going to be, and the present I am here like this. So like that you separate past, present and the future. See, that come out of the imagination. So then other thing is, once you separate the time, what happening? Your thoughts separate past experience, future desires, present experience. So once the mind separate, once the time separate, your mind separate. So when the mind separate, what will happen? Now time and the mind separate, then the space you separate. So when the space separate, what happened? The energy separate, it's fragmented, scattered, go to parts. But when it comes to this very moment, look yourself, this everything together. But by thinking, visualizing, we break it down and we separate this. And as a result of that, what is happening? Imagination happening. So the imagination is a kind of like a dream state. That's why it's called illusion. So imagination, illusion, this all come out of separate mind. So when you separate yourself to parts, what happening? You become weak. Why? Because the energy, time, space, the moment of experience, this everything separate, then you become weak. When the very moment of the weak consciousness happen, what happening? It need help from something. That's why you always belong to something. You look to belong to something, to become, go behind something, because of the weakness and the fear that make out of the fragmented mind. So then, why this fragmented mind happening like this way? Because our imagination and the thought process is come out of thought itself material. The thought come out of it is a material experience. Reaction, reflection bring the thoughts. And the reaction, reflection bring the thoughts, and itself the thought, when it come to the thought process that the deeply thought itself weak. Just one thought or the thought process itself weak. It needs something to clinging, hold. Otherwise it disappears. That's why you see, when you see the mind, it arises, it cannot be there. It go away. Just I give us example. From birth to now. Just imagine, if you remember all the thoughts, how your mind going to be now? Do you think you're going to have a very calm, relaxed, peaceful mind? And even without any effort, that thoughts went away. So one thought itself is not going to be there unless if you keep repeating. So see that the repetition of the thought bring the strength to that thought. Then we are the one who doing it. So we are the one who responsible, whatever the strong mindset that we carry. Why? Because we are the one who thought again and again and again and again. So then, in this very lifetime, what you have to do? Don't be limited to thoughts. Because out of the limited thoughts, action, reaction, result, then what happening? The knowledge come. So the knowledge bound to thoughts, it is very limited. And not only limited, it is very weak. It doesn't matter psychological knowledge or scientific knowledge, it is very limited. Look at when the virus situation came, that what happened to all the scientific knowledge? Is still it never came to a point to understand what this is, because the knowledge is very limited. Why? Because the knowledge go with the memory. When something new come, the knowledge cannot access to it. That's what we all experience today. But why still that we hold it to that, and without understanding the mechanism of the the mind and the knowledge, why we don't look beyond the knowledge now? But it's still people don't look into that. So whatever the knowledge that you have within yourself also very limited. That's why you experience this kind of all the struggle to you. Because if your knowledge is unlimited, or if it is help you to have the whatever the life you want, it should already happen. But it's not going to happen. Why? Because you bound to the thoughts, you bound to the experience, you bound to the, you harbor, and you kind of like a spider, create the web out of that what you know, and that is knowledge, and you live with it. And then you think it is the truth. So then what happening when you read a book, when you watch a movie, when you listen to a music, or when you uh, watching any documentary, if that what you believe as truth, reflect on that, you accept it. That is why you not going to change, world not going to change. So it's kind of like a we massaging our own head and become comfortable with that. So that we done by our knowledge. So then what we have to do? We have to learn to be alone. So the being alone means you start to accumulate all the strength, the capacity in you, and take responsibility and be with it. Learn to be alone. And when it comes to alone, remember the time, mind, space, energy, you put everything together, then itself it becomes strong. Then once it becomes strong itself, it never look something to, to be belong. So otherwise you always try to belong to something. And we belong to culture, tradition, nations, religions, the believing system. So like that, we hold it to that. But the samadhi, tranquility state is the moment that really bringing you this real strength. So then in day-to-day life, learn to be alone. So you have to practice it, because that is the real moment of the being, or the experience of life. When you come to the moment to be alone, in that very moment, what happening? So whatever come to your eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, without thinking or without knowledge, you're going to experience. So that is what called seeing. So this is what, this is how the knowledge, or what you see as truth, break down, and you go into something new. This is what happening. Listen this very carefully and try to catch it. Okay. So now there is something you hold as your knowledge, as the truth you know. Then you start to be alone, and you bring all the strength to yourself. Time, mind, space, energy, everything you put it to one place without depending from the knowledge. So once you put it to one place, what is happening? So as you know, your mind or your consciousness or your awareness can hold one action at one time. It cannot do two actions. It is not multitasking. It is happening so fast, and because of that we think it can do many. No, at one time your mind can do only one thing. So we start from that place. Then You put everything together, and that in that very moment, what is happening? Whatever come to your eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, that means the perception or the experience come to you through the senses. In that very moment, you see it. When you see, no knowledge. Because remember, your mind can have one action one time. So if you use the knowledge, you cannot see. If you use past experience, if you use your thoughts, you cannot see. That is what called samsara. But if you see, there is no thoughts, no knowledge, no past experience, because the seeing itself is the action. You cannot, it is not kind of like a thinking and seeing. No, because the seeing itself become the action. But now thinking is our action. So mind can do only one thing at one time. So when the thinking become the action, that means the repetition or reflection become the action you cannot see. But when you become alone, what the strength you gain, naturally you get the power within your mind to see. So when you see, that become your life experience, that become your wisdom. So it is moment by moment, moment by moment. When you see moment by moment, there is no collective experience. Because if you collect, what will happen? The moment of seeing going to disappear. So when you see in the moment, you don't need anything, because you don't look to belong to something. You don't look to depend from something. Why? Because you already see. You already connect to the truth. So when you be with the truth, what you need anymore? You don't need anything. But if you don't see the truth, or you don't belong to the truth, you will get the help until you go into it. But getting help or even depending from our own memory or our own knowledge, it's not going to take us to there. So the meditation is the method. We drop that everything, and we develop a pattern to bring all the strength together and reverse this fragmented mind, scattered mind, and bring all the energy together and stay in one place and see. That is what you need. That is what, through the tranquility meditation, that is what, through this sitting in day-to-day life, try to be alone. So the mentally also get out of this isolation, the idea of imagination, because we imagine something. That's why that it take us to that imagination or the isolation. This when we become alone. No, becoming alone is the best gift that you can have. Why? Because that is the moment you're going to see. But when we belong to something, we always thinking, depending from knowledge and repetition, reactions. So that kind of things happening. So yourself, to gain the liberation or to find the ultimate truth, the very basic fundamental practice that you have to do, be learn to be alone. Little by little, 1 minute, determine yourself. Don't have any thought. Just completely be alone yourself. Never have any kind of mental image. Never think about anybody. That's why when in the beginning I mentioned, get out of your mental image, your position, your duties. And when you sit with that, it make you alone. So that becoming alone is the point to make you strong. That when you become strong, that is the point that you're going to see. When you see, that is the point you're going to harmonize with the truth. When you harmonize and when you see the truth, that is the moment your transformation happen. That is the moment your liberation happens. So this is the process, and day by day, little by little, you have to practice it yourself, and you have to give some times and then fulfill the journey. So for that, I bless upon everyone. May all of you be well, happy and peaceful. May no harm come to you, may no difficulties come to you, may no problems come to you. May you also have the patience, courage, understanding, and determination to meet and overcome inevitable difficulties in your life. During this time period, may everyone stay healthy and safe. And finally, may all of you attain supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sabbityo vajjantu sabbarogo vinasatu mate bhavattantarayo sukhi digayuko bhava. Ittavata cha mi sampadang punya sampadang sabbe deva numodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Sabbe bhuta numodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Sabbe satta numodantu Sabba sampatti siddhya idam me punya kammang asavakkaya vahang hotu sabba dukkha pamunchatu. Bless you.